Aston Martin is slowly but surely preparing for the 2026 shakedown and the new regulations with Honda, and their goal is loud and clear: a championship in both categories. After the latest statements from Newey and Alonso, it looks like the team has a clear path in front of them, and with 2025 likely to be a learning season full of data gathering processes throughout it, could we look at Alonso being crowned a champion at the age of 45? The team that attracted the most attention throughout the past couple of months is arguably Aston Martin, for all the right reasons. The Silverstone-based squad brought very important members on their board, starting with and ending with Cowell and Cardile from Mercedes and Ferrari respectively. Newey was made a technical partner of the team as well, which means that he'll have a greater say as to how things are going to develop in the internal circles of the team. And with the arrival of Honda from 2026 onwards, the situation couldn't be more perfect for Aston Martin. Alonso himself stated that while 2025 is not going to be a year of winning, just occasional competitiveness from track to track, but the story is going to change massively in 2025. This comes after Newey's revelation that he has been set back around 2 months in working time thanks to Red Bull's policies. But even with such a setback, the mastermind believes that 2026 is going to be theirs to lose from the original predictions made by simulations, because nobody knows what the new regulations hold until the cars hit the track. When talking about 2025 as well as the regulation changes in 2026, Alonso went on to say, "We certainly won't have the potential to win in 2025. The cars will be the same as last year and it will be practically impossible for us to make such a leap forward. We hope it will go better than 2024, but we will not win the championship." In 2026, of course, we get new regulations and Adrian Newey joins our project from 2025. So we should actually be excited for a good year where we might even win a world championship. Those are big words, but expectations are high. A lot of hope is being invested in the facilities of Aston Martin, more precisely the CFD facility and the state-of-the-art wind tunnel, and it's worth mentioning that Lawrence Stroll is done messing around and is committed to winning the championship. Alonso's optimism is laying directly in these processes that are happening to be the key to securing a championship-winning car with the minds of Newey, Cardile and Cowell. And when expanding on the championship quest in 2026, he said, "I also know the team's renovated headquarters and facilities are going to be very important because we are in the pre-season of 2026 and the presentation of that car is also getting closer and closer. New regulations, Adrian Newey, me, I already know what questions you are going to ask me. Can we dream of a championship? I would ask that question as an outsider too if I saw Newey move to another team." The expectations are also very big for teams like Ferrari and Mercedes because they've been in the sport for quite some time and they know a lot when it comes to developing an engine, the part of the car that of course would be pivotal for the performance throughout this era. Nevertheless, Aston Martin becoming an independent branch of Mercedes is a sign that they are ready to pose a serious threat to this traditional pecking order, and by the sounds of it, 2026 cannot come anytime sooner. Newey believes that the first season of the new regulations has a very big chance to end up like it did back in 2014 when one team marched in front and the rest were forced to either abandon everything they did or just hope that they would find a miracle to catch up. When talking about his own belief regarding 2026, Newey didn't point towards a specific team in terms of domination in the new regulations. As he went on to elaborate, there has to be a big chance that it's an engine formula at the start. The reality is I can't remember another time in Formula 1 when both the chassis regulations and the engine regulations changed simultaneously. And in this case, the chassis regulations have been very much written to try to compensate, let's say, for the power unit regulations. So it's an extra dimension. I think engine manufacturers will have learnt to an extent on the lack of preparation that the rivals to Mercedes did prior to that change for 2014. But there has to be a chance that one manufacturer will come out well on top and it'll become a power unit dominated regulation, at least to start with. Of course, the expectations are for Mercedes and Ferrari to march towards this spot that Newey designed in his mind. But what is also worth mentioning is that Red Bull has been the team to dominate dominate in the past couple of years. And while a lot of that goes to the aerodynamics of the car, the engine itself is, of course, a very important part of the car's performance throughout the currently regulated era. And this is exactly why Alonso believes that the championship in 2026 is more than possible, with the two-time world champion also stating that he might not be here to race beyond the first year of the regulations unless Aston Martin are planning to offer him a contract of one more year. Be that as it may, Honda have come aboard with their own concerns, and when talking about it, Koji Watanabe, the president of the Japanese manufacturer, believes that there are some obstacles that they should tackle ahead of the 2026 regulations, which is going to be hard because they are a bit behind compared to the rest of the teams. It's not exactly the statement that you want to hear from Honda now that everything is poised to a great success, but it's the reality we live in. And when talking about it to a greater extent, Watanabe said, "We are struggling. Now we are trying our best to show the result next year. Everything is new. The motor is a new 355 kilowatt, very compact one we need. Also the lightweight battery. It's not so easy to develop, and also the small engine with the big power. Everything is very difficult, but we will try our best." I know what many of you are thinking after hearing this statement: sandbagging at its finest. But sometimes it's a power play that could force other teams to seek answers to certain questions that are not in the right direction. Until the cars hit the tarmac, we will have no idea whether or not Honda have made substantial gains or losses throughout the development of their engines. But be that as it may, the team is now adamant that there needs to be more work done, which is not what Aston Martin hoped for when signing the contract with Honda from 2026 onwards. On the other hand, Christian Horner believes that Honda is going to struggle a bit and that sandbagging is a process they might not implement early in this part of the year. And when talking about it to a greater extent, the team principal of Red Bull said, "It is a big challenge. I mean, Honda disbanded their project and then restarted it again. They may well have lost a little bit of time through that, but they are a very capable company and they have got great strength. I am sure that they will have a competitive power unit in 2026. Let's not forget that Honda and Aston Martin will be one of the biggest nemesis for Red Bull come 2026, because they have the greatest chance of stealing Max Verstappen's services and bringing him to their own camp. The comments from Jos, the father of the four-time world champion, are loud and clear. If Red Bull fails to win a championship-winning car and one capable of competing at the front, then they might as well wave goodbye to Max's services. And a team that has high potential to land him, considering the fact that Alonso publicly announced his retirement beyond 2026, is Aston Martin. Given the fact that they brought high-profile staff from Red Bull as well as Honda, it might be an offer that Verstappen will have an extremely hard time saying no to, especially considering that competitive spirit that he has running through his veins. With all this in mind, do you think that Aston Martin is a legitimate contender for the 2026 championship in both categories? And more importantly, do you think that Alonso has a proper chance of lifting the trophy for the third time in his career and the first time since 2006? Let us know in the comments below, and if you want to find out more about the current internal drama in Ferrari, make sure to check out the video that's appearing on your screen right now.